At the time of this recording, it is January 2024. And because it's January, a lot of people are with these doing a dry January or New Year's resolutions and New Year, New Me, this kind of stuff. Maybe you're doing this yourself. But what about if that kind of concept comes up in a therapy room? How should you deal with it? Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to Therapy Business School. My name is James Taylor. I'm an online counsellor, hypnotherapist, hypnotherapy supervisor, a life coach. I'm also an author, a podcaster and a YouTuber. Now it's January and New Year's resolutions being made. And what happens if this comes up in the therapy room? Well, I've got a bit of a tip for you if this were to come up. And it's from the world of life coaching, but it falls into place beautifully with counselling. It's a bit more practical, it's a bit more collaborative than traditional counselling. But if this is your cup of tea and it's your client's cup of tea or coffee, then maybe give this a whirl and see what happens. And this is how it works. I learned this from a mentor of mine who's now passed away, but the concept was beautiful the way he explained it. He said, if you went into a school on the first day and said to all the children in the school, right, put your pens away, put your books away, put your bags away, we're just going to do an exercise. Now here's a piece of paper and write down on the top of the page what grade you would like to get at the end of this school year. Don't write what you think you can get. Write what grade you would like to get. Get all the kids to do that. And then underneath, when all the kids have done it, say, right, okay, now you've written a grade at the top of the page that you'd like to get. Now underneath, write down all the tasks that are going to be required by you to ensure you get that grade or pretty close to it, and get them to do that. Now what happens is the children then have a blueprint and they have a map, and as long as they stick to the map or stick to the blueprint, the chances are they're going to get that grade or pretty close to it. Now this is a fantastic thing to do if New Year's resolutions comes up in the therapy room. So let's say a client wants to, well, at the moment there's a lot of dry January. Okay, so being very collaborative, if and you don't even need pen and paper, but it's handy if there is a pen and paper provided. If you're working online, ask the client if you're okay doing this. Is it okay to say, just get a pen and paper for this little exercise and let's figure something out? So it works online or in person. And ask the client, okay, what is the goal that you want to do? Now let's say it was dry January. Okay, so at the top, write down to complete dry January. And then get them, don't you provide the answers, but get them to start listing down all the things that they would need to do to complete dry January. So you'd be surprised how easy the client is going to find to come up with all the ways that they can stay dry for January. I'd say it's a weight loss, same thing. What would it need to do? Now, when this is done, the client can almost be accountable to themselves, because they, a bit like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, they've now got a map to where, maybe the Temple of Doom was a wrong choice, but they've got a map to get to where the treasure is. Maybe it's not a Temple of Doom, but they've got a map to where the treasure is. And if they stick to their own instructions, they're probably going to succeed. Now it's also okay to put down, when you've done this, and before this is still in the same session, okay, what obstacles do you think might crop up for you? Now, for many of the people who've watched these videos before, you know what I'm like with elephants. I like elephants. I love them. I just don't want one in the room with me. So it's good to address a possible elephant. What do you think might trip you up if you were trying to do a dry January? What kind of things would trip you up? They might say, well, I've still got a load of drink in the house. Okay, so that might trip you up. What could you do about that so it doesn't trip you up? And talk through these possible scenarios with your client and get them, encourage them to get emotionally involved in the completion of the goal. That's a big one. If they're emotionally involved in doing this, their success rate goes up. Their chances of success goes up. And this can only be a good thing. So just a short and sweet video for this week. And it is the start of the new year, so they probably will get a bit longer. But I don't like the word try. So do this with your clients if it's their thing and if it's your thing, and see what happens. Do it with yourself. So I'm a big fan of being my own guinea pig first before I test it out on someone else. So maybe do it with yourself. So if you've got a New Year's resolution, whatever it might be, write down on a piece of paper what it is at the top, or what it's going to be like when you achieve it, and what it's going to feel like. Okay, so there's the emotional involvement. And then write down all the list, write down, should say, a list of all the things that are going to get you to that treasure. Worth a go, don't you think? If you've liked this video, please remember to give it a like, a share and a subscribe. And I've also got a Facebook group, and the link for that will be in the description below. And that's a private Facebook group just for those in the wellbeing space. So it's a confidential space for us to talk. All right. So again, this is James from Therapy Business School, and my best wishes to you, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.